Happy September, everybody. Thanks for tuning into our September WIG Report. I don't know about you, but I am ready for some cooler fall weather, hopefully coming later this month. So let's kick off this month's report with occupancy and retention. So our current overall occupancy as a company is sitting just shy of 84%, with August being a solid month for us, with slight increases in nearly every care setting, at least at the time of this filming. And our retention also continues to improve, with year-to-date rolling 12-month turnover being down more than 5%, which is fantastic. We're remaining and continuing to be even further below industry averages, so we're doing a great job there. And I want to comment, this is kind of a carryover from something we discussed with all of our leaders at the annual meeting, and that is, while occupancy has certainly been a roller coaster, we've been slowly inching, some back, some forward. Been a roller coaster. We're moving in the right direction, but sometimes slow, sometimes fast, slower than we'd like. I have to add, our sales are actually up more than 5% on the year. Turnover, we've been doing a fantastic job, still lots of opportunity. And what I'd like to share with everyone, that in both cases, while we'll continue to focus on, new folks coming to look at our communities, interested in moving in, new folks coming to join our teams, looking to join our teams, being interested in joining our teams, we already have monumental opportunity amongst those that have already come to our communities, and amongst all the team members that are already with us today. And just through small incremental changes, by continuing to do the things we're already doing just a little bit better each day in terms of team member satisfaction, resident satisfaction, we can easily fill all of our communities with people living there, our members, our residents, and then also team members working there. So small incremental changes make the biggest difference in the world, and we are so close. Lastly, I just have two announcements this month, and the first is that all independent living teams should be well into your action plans at this point from our mid-year satisfaction survey. The second item is that we will be conducting our team member satisfaction survey, the Great Place to Work survey, which is our annual satisfaction survey of team members conducted by a third party. That's going to be occurring next month in the second half of October. So the last couple of weeks of October is when our Great Place to Work survey will be. You'll start to learn more about this at the end of this month, and certainly in October as we get it fired up. And we're just excited to get your feedback and keep growing better together. In honor of our goal to always be improving through feedback loops, people telling us whether we're doing a good job or not. So in honor of that, and in advance of next month's Great Place to Work survey, I'd like to give everyone a more thorough refresher on radical candor this month. We've covered it, throughout the years multiple times. This month, we're going to do a deeper dive, and I'm actually not going to do it myself. I'm going to let the originator and author of Radical Candor, Kim Scott, take it away.
I'm Kim Scott, and I'm the author of Radical Candor. It's a very simple idea, and if you can put it into practice, it will help you do the very best work of your life and build the best relationships of your career. All I mean by radical candor is care personally and challenge directly at the same time. Why is that so complicated? To explain why, I'm going to offer you a radical candor framework, a 2x2 framework. All of life's hardest problems really can be boiled down to a good 2x2 framework. Care personally, challenge directly. Let's take each dimension in turn. First of all, care personally. This is what I think of as the give a damn dimension of radical candor. And what happens here begins when we're about 18, 19, 20 years old. The problem begins then. We're right at that moment in our lives. We get our first job, but our egos are maximally fragile and our personas are beginning to solidify. And right at that moment, someone comes along and says, be professional. And for an awful lot of us, we sort of translate that to mean to leave your emotions, leave your true identity, leave your humanity, leave everything that's best about you at home and show up at work like some kind of robot. And you can't possibly care personally if you're showing up at work like some kind of robot. So what I encourage folks to do is to really be more than just professional, not be unprofessional, but really create the kind of environments in your workplaces where you can bring real human relationships. You can develop real human relationships at work. However, love is not all you need. You also need the other dimension of radical candor. This is what I think of as the challenge directly dimension, or the willingness to piss people off. And this is hard because from the moment we learn how to speak, starting when we're 18 months old, not 18 years old, our parents come along and they say to us some version of, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I would argue that now that you are working, it's your job to say it. So this is hard. Radical candor is hard. It's hard because of this be professional training since we got our first job, since we were 18 years old. And it's hard because of this, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all training. That's been pounded into our head since we learned to speak at 18 months old or however old we were. One of the things that I've done to try to make it a little bit easier is to give a name to what happens when we fail on one dimension or another, which we all do multiple times a day. So sometimes we remember to challenge directly, but we forget to show that we care personally. And this I call obnoxious aggression. In an early draft of Radical Candor, I called this the asshole quadrant because it seemed, I don't know, more radically candid. But I stopped doing that for a very important reason. As soon as I did that, people would use this framework to start writing names in boxes. And I beg of you, don't use this framework that way. Think about radical candor like a compass that is going to help guide specific conversations that you're having with specific people to a better place. Now, very often when we realize we've acted like a jerk and we've landed in the obnoxious aggression quadrant, rather than moving up on the care personally dimension, it is our instinct to go the wrong way on challenge directly. And the problem there is that then you wind up in the very worst place of all, manipulative insincerity. And this is where passive aggressive behavior, political behavior, backstabbing behavior creeps in. The kind of stuff that makes work intolerable. And it's kind of fun to tell stories about obnoxious aggression and manipulative insincerity. But the fact of the matter is, because that's where the drama is, but the fact of the matter is the vast majority of us make the vast majority of our mistakes in this last quadrant, where we do remember to show that we care personally. It turns out most people are actually pretty nice, but we're so concerned about not hurting someone's feelings that we fail to tell them something they'd be better off knowing. And this is what I call ruinous empathy. So one of the things that I want to do in the next couple of seconds is just offer you an order of operations. How can you begin to put these ideas into practice? Start by soliciting radical candor, especially soliciting criticism. Don't dish it out until you prove that you can take it. So you want to solicit first. Now you're in a better place to start giving radical candor. And remember, radical candor is just as much about praise, even more about praise, than it is about criticism. You want to focus on the good stuff, but you don't want to ignore problems either. So that's giving radical candor. Now, in order to make sure that these conversations are good, the next thing you need to do is to gauge it. If there were an objective measure of radical candor, I could just post on a blog post somewhere what the right words are, but there aren't necessarily right words. What you need to do is understand how what you are saying lands for the other person. So radical candor gets measured not at the speaker's mouth, but at the listener's ear. So if the person is upset, if they're angry, if they're sad, that's your cue to attend to the care personally dimension of radical candor, to understand the human need behind the upset. But if the person just isn't hearing you, which actually, even though you fear the strong emotions, what usually happens is you work up your courage to say something and then the person doesn't even hear you. When they don't hear you, that's your cue to move out on the challenge directly dimension of radical candor. And last but not least, encourage it. All too often, one person who we know comes and starts talking to us badly about another person who's not in the room. And it's tempting to listen. It's tempting to think that you're being an empathetic colleague, an empathetic friend to listen. This is the one time when listening is not your friend. All you're doing is stirring the political pot. When that happens, the thing to do is to encourage that person to go talk to the person with whom they're having the problem, the conflict. So encourage radical candor. Thank you so much for your time. Go forth and be radically candid.
This month's team member benefit highlight is Teladoc. So with kids, pretty much across the whole country now, full swing of school, we're approaching the colder months. We want to remind you all that you receive free telemedicine visits for you and your family. I repeat, for you and your family. This benefit is for every single team member, including part-time and PRN. It is also unrelated to our health insurance plans. You do not have to purchase or be on our health insurance plan to receive free Teladoc. Everyone gets it. We pay for everyone to have access. So you'll have access to this benefit paid for by the company. The actual Teladoc visits are free to you and your family. And as I said earlier, our provider for this telemedicine is Teladoc. If you don't already have their app, you can also access it via the website. You can just do a quick search in your phone's app store, or you can ask your HR director for help. We pay 100% of the fee for any virtual appointments you, your spouse, or your children use. We encourage you to use Teladoc, particularly as you get into, again, school, flu season, that sort of thing, and avoid the expense, hassle, and risk of going to urgent care, ER, even the doctor's office.
On Saturday morning when I arrived for MOD, I got a call first thing that we had a resident fall at our villa building. I immediately called the concierge to see what was going on. On my way over there, I was told that there was an accident and there was some biohazard spill on the floor. I immediately called Caitlin. She was on site with Gloria Steen from Marsh's Edge. This was her first day on the job. She came on a Saturday to just get a feel for the community. We both arrived over at the villas and Gloria stepped right in. She immediately helped clean up the mess that was made. She went and checked on the resident with me as well. She stepped right into the role without knowing anything else about our community. Since then, Gloria has been a great asset to our team here at Osprey Village. She's always got a smile. She's always telling everybody, hey. We're very thankful for her coming down to OV and being part of our team now.
So Lakeisha is one of our nurses that works on the floor, and she went above and beyond when she got a phone call from a family member checking on her mom. And the floor is very busy, and she just took the time out of her day to answer all of the questions and ease the anxiety of that family member and really just help ensure her that her mom was doing well and how things were going and give her updates, anything that she wanted to know. And that's just Lakeisha's character. She goes above and beyond every day. She helps all the residents. She helps all of the different companies that come in, like hospices. She answers all the family members' questions with grace and kindness and patience, and we're just so very blessed to have her on our team.
I'd like to share a little bit of information about Ari. She's our dining room manager, and since she joined our dining team, she's taken it to the next level. She met a prospect of mine during lunch, and they just hit it off. They connected about her favorite dessert, and so Ari said, next time you come back, I'll make sure I'll have it for you. And she did. We, of course, they deposited, and then she is moving in today, and Ari has already made her a pavlova, and she is, of course, going to present it to her today when she has her lunch with her family. We are so glad that Ari's part of our team.
We've been fortunate to have such amazing staff here, and Ari is just another one in the lineage of what's going on here. She has just done an amazing job. She sits and talks to the residents. She takes care of them. She knows so much about them. Any little intricacies that they feel like they might want or something, she does everything she can to be able to meet those expectations for them. And it goes for every resident, any even other member that walks through our dining room, staff member even. She always tries to make sure to just make it a special meeting with them and really just show them how much she does care about them personally and individually.
I mean, she's just always going above and beyond. Truly does a great job for the residents, does a great job for anybody that she comes in contact with. Even just small gestures, small things that she does for those that live here, just to make their day special, whether it be an anniversary or a birthday or just a special outing for them. She's always looking to kind of add value to that moment for them. Just super stoked for her, honored to be a part of the team with her, and way to go, Ari.
Awesome work, heroes. Let's keep being radically candid and growing better together. Live Weller.